Let's go ahead and get started with our legal news. We're talking about the House just passed a bill to effectively ban TikTok, and it was overwhelmingly passed. We've got 352 votes to 65. So this was a bipartisan bill. And here's what it says. If this passes in the Senate, that ByteDance, who's the owner of TikTok, has 6 months to sell TikTok to some other type of company, presumably a US based company. If it doesn't sell, then TikTok is going to be banned from all US servers and app stores, which would effectively kill TikTok in the United States.
With it being run by ByteDance.
Yes, if ByteDance were to sell, then of course they get to continue on operating, no problems. But that's the proposed bill. Chuck Schumer, who is the Democratic majority leader in the Senate, has to bring it up for a vote. The Biden administration supports the bill. I'm not sure what Schumer's hesitation is, except to say we know that TikTok has, since 2019, lobbied some big money, something like $21 million since 2019. I don't know if that was specifically Chuck Schumer related or if they were just lobbying dollars focused at the legislature in general.
I bet none of it actually goes to Chuck Schumer. I bet he is just a TikTok fiend. Like he spends like 3-5 hours a day on TikTok. He's I just can't bring this up
Can't,
for a vote.
that Schumer is addicted to TikTok that he can't live without it. I'll tell you what that lobbyist money really means to me is that the Chinese own our politicians. That's what I'm hearing.
You know what? I don't know. I think I might be more okay with the Chinese owning our politicians than the American government owning our politicians.
Ah, that's rough. So full disclosure, I have a lifetime ban from advertising on TikTok.
Why do you have a lifetime ban?
They won't tell me. I have around 4,000 followers on TikTok for the law firm account,
Okay.
but I just got a notice from TikTok's notifications that one day, oh, you're prohibited from advertising on TikTok because you violated certain policies. I definitely did some videos they didn't like. I did. Remember we did that piece on all the things the Chinese government will kill you for?
I very well remember that section. Yes.
I think I also poked fun at TikTok for all the illegal things that people learn how to do on the platform. They didn't like that too much. I think the piece I did was real estate related, and they were teaching people how to defraud landlords.
How to defraud landlords, but there was also something I don't think we discussed that went around recently about like how to hotwire a certain type of car. And there are a lot of kids going around doing those Kias
Yeah.
specifically. And then it's not a great thing. I did not have my Kia broken into. So
Okay. Good to hear that. I'm banned from TikTok. They don't like me. I don't like them. I still post things on TikTok. I think they purposely deflate or bury my posts because they don't like me.
You're shadow banned.
I'm shadow banned. That's exactly right. That's a pretty cool term. I'm honored to be shadow banned. So why is there a push to ban TikTok?
The logic for the politicians is that the Chinese government is using it to spy on people. They're using every time you install TikTok on your phone, they're using it to spy on you. So
I'm completely fine with the Chinese
yeah,
having it.
our intelligence industry not wanting someone else taking a piece of the pie. They're like, we want to be the only ones
Right.
watching American.
There's this general idea that the Chinese government will exert control over certain Chinese companies, ByteDance being one of them. And they have a history of doing that.
Hmm.
And the US government is a little uncomfortable with that. I think it's more of a direct threat than that, though.
Okay.
I think that it is entirely possible that we could go to war with China. And if you are actively at war with a country that effectively controls one of your biggest media platforms, you're almost certainly going to lose the war because propaganda is a big part of fighting wars. I don't mean to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but I think China is our biggest rival economically. I think they have a huge military. And I think it's entirely possible. I don't know if it's going to be in our lifetime, but it's entirely possible that we're at war with China and you effectively have a country now, your adversary controlling all the media and is able to push propaganda to your people. Propaganda is a big part of war. I can easily see the Chinese government being at war with us and using TikTok to push propaganda to sow discord, which I think they already do. I think their logarithms already are pointedly sowing discord among Americans and making our country more divisive, which thereby weakens us. And I can see the Chinese government using that to their advantage. So I don't think these politicians are that way off base for wanting to ban TikTok in this country. I mean, so they're pro TikTok. What's the counter argument? It's First Amendment free speech. But my question I'd ask for those that are concerned about free speech, would you feel like your speech was more free if you were subject and controlled by the Chinese government?
I think that I would consider the speech to be more free if they just let it be. People know you have to really be living under a rock to not be aware of the potential security concerns of TikTok.
If you're a user on TikTok and you want the Chinese to know what you're doing, then that's your choice.
Yeah, it's a lot harder to just write a daily letter of your online activities and send
Yeah.
it to Beijing than it is just to have TikTok installed. If you want to give the Chinese your information, just allow the ease of access.
And I consider myself to have some libertarian principles, but I also think we need things like national security and a military,
Ah,
and we need maybe an electrical power grid system. Never mind that the state of Texas has our own power grid system, but that's a different topic. As someone who loves this country, enjoys living here, and enjoys the freedoms, I don't want to let the decisions of individual Americans to the extent of the mob run amok
Mm.
by handing our country to the Chinese. So in the same sense that yelling fire in a theater is a limitation on free speech, I think upholding the Constitution, the First Amendment to absurd ridiculousness and handing our country over to the Chinese is a problem.
But what does the First Amendment mean if it doesn't extend to absurd ridiculousness?
Yeah, I can see that. But somebody with a brain, somebody with half a brain or even an entire brain needs to be thinking about national security. I think there's some valid concerns. I don't know if Chuck Schumer is going to bring this to vote. I don't know if it's going to pass. We'll see what happens with it. And you know what, TikTok, I don't need you. So I'm fine with my lifetime ban.
To be clear, I hope it passes just because it's funny to follow the news, and I don't care about TikTok that much.
The winners in this are obviously Meta, Instagram,
Yeah.
Facebook, maybe Twitter.
Yeah.
So the winners are US based social media platforms.